Yes, you read that thumbnail right. My babies were standing by 6 months and 8 months and walking by 7 months and 9 months. As a matter of fact, running by 7 months and 9 months, okay? Hey y'all, hey, it's Chameleon K. And if you're new here, I help single moms create freedom through entrepreneurship. But today, I'm talking about something a little different. Today, I'm going to talk about how I taught my kids to walk really early. So my daughter was standing by 6 months and walking to the point where she was running around the mall by 7 months, and my son was standing by 8 months and walking by 9 months. So if you're interested in learning how to teach your baby how to walk early, then keep on watching. So if you're a parent wondering how to get your baby to walk sooner, then I'm breaking down exactly how I did what I did and how I got my babies to walk sooner than later. And when I say it works, trust me, it works. So when my daughter was running around at 7 months, people used to like look at her like, oh my gosh, she looks like a real live doll baby, like the size of a baby doll running around, because she was so little. And it was so cute, like it was so cute. It was something that a lot of people hadn't seen before. And I personally enjoyed the fact that my kids walked early, because I was one of those moms that wore heels all the time. I was a younger mom, so I never wanted to, you know, give up who I was because I was a parent, and I didn't have the luxury of having, you know, my kid's father with me to carry the car seat or anything like that. I did everything on my own. So carrying a car seat, you know, babies get hefty. They get a little hefty. So carrying a car seat with heels on and, you know, pushing around a stroller wasn't too bad. But when it came to like just short distances, or just carrying them in the store to put them in a cart, or, you know, things like that, and carrying the whole car seat to achieve that, them kids was heavy. So that's why, you know, them being able to walk was so much easier for me. So you'll start to notice, like, when your baby is around 3 months, they'll start to, you know how you hold their hands like this and they'll like bounce in your lap, like they're standing on your lap and they're like bouncing up and down. They're strengthening their legs, and it's kind of a sign of readiness, like they're showing you, you know, they're getting their legs ready to be able to go to the next step. And I paid attention and stuff like that. So, you know, they started, you know, I would always encourage it. I would allow them to do it all the time if I was holding them. They didn't really like to, especially my son, didn't really like to necessarily sit down, or, you know, me hold them and they're literally sitting down. They enjoyed standing up. They enjoyed bouncing. They enjoyed, I guess, I don't know, being higher up was the motivation or what it was about it, but they enjoyed it. And when they were trying to, like, so when they started trying to bear that weight on their legs and they were doing it repetitively, then that was how I originally start to allow them to build the strength, or help them build that strength. So as soon as they could do that, you know, bouncing thing or stand for long periods of time, I'm talking, they wanted to literally do it all the time without a break. They weren't really dropping. They weren't really even trying to sit down at any point unless, you know, I literally made them or they had to. Then that's when I started standing them against a wall. Now, the way that I would do this is, especially initially, so the first time you do this, you stand them like literally against the wall. You need to be really close. Do not back up. Don't, you know, don't give it any distance. Like, you just literally stand them there against the wall and see how they react. Don't let them slide to the side, because they can, you know, slide to the side or they can fall sometimes. And with my daughter, what she did was she showed control. So she kind of, like, her standing there like that, I think she did kind of have a fear initially, like the floor was so far from, you know, her face, and it was her, you know, she wasn't used to it. So when she initially, you know, saw it, she had control. Like, she would slowly sit down, right?
on. Get it, Corey. Get it. Come on, let's go.
Now, I knew that as soon as I did it, that's what she would do at first. That's what she would do. My son, he would stand there, but I would, I would stand them there and like just close enough to where if they did fall or they tilt or anything like that, I could catch them. They wouldn't hurt themselves, and I would like, be sitting on the floor. So I did this every day, a lot of times, multiple times a day, at different times of the day. And naturally over time, their legs got stronger. The more they stood, the easier it got. It was pretty much practice for them. And in the beginning, I would just stand them there, and now, like I said, my daughter, she would immediately try to sit down because of her fear of, I'm assuming in her head, her face hitting the floor, which I wasn't going to let happen. But, babies may react in different ways. So like you can tell the difference between whether they're tired and whether they're just like immediately no, like out of fear or out of just being something new, something they're not used to doing. So I'm gonna get into like fatigue and stuff like that, but just pay attention to the signs. And I didn't necessarily have any length of time, but they'll tell you, they'll communicate it in different ways how they're feeling, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into that now. So your baby will communicate to you when they're done standing. So they may start to look frustrated, and out of frustration they may start to not necessarily cry, but it's like type of thing, like, okay, it's enough, like let's not do, they're over it for the time being. Or when you stand them back up, they may show weakness in their legs or something, and okay, they need a break. It's just like when you go to a gym and you're repetitively doing an exercise that you aren't used to doing, so your strength training is pretty much like they're strengthening their legs, and you can tell when they're fatigued or they're tired of doing it and it's time for a break. And again, like when I said my daughter would slowly sit down, initially she wasn't slowly sitting down because she was tired, she was slowly sitting down because she was scared. But once she got used to it, now if you think about it, you're not used to doing this and you are slowly sitting down, and I would say she would control it, like she was using the strength of her legs to sit herself down. That may even be why she walked earlier than most too, because that's kind of she was strengthening her legs. And I would stand her back up and she would slowly sit down, and I could tell the difference between her just sitting down out of fear versus her sitting down out of being tired. So you kind of have to use your discretion when determining and recognizing when your baby needs a break. So if they're doing any of these things, then don't force it. That's your cue to stop. Try again later when they're ready. That's what I did. Give them a break. It's fine. Give them an hour or two. If if you have to go somewhere, try again later, when they're after a nap or something like that. But also don't push it. Like, walking happens naturally. Yes, you can help them strengthen their legs, but when they're ready, they will progress. So during this process, you do need to practice patience. That is key, because rushing the process isn't gonna be good for you or the baby. So and you don't want them to have a negative feeling toward learning how to walk either. Now, after they gotten this, being able to stand against the wall, eventually they'll be able to stand off the wall, meaning like they can just stand. Away from the wall, they can literally stand by themselves. Then you start to get them to walk to you. So the way that I did this was I would stand close enough for them to reach me, right? So that they can literally touch your hand if they reach out, and then slightly go out of reach. They'll try to get to you. right? Sometimes they'll try to run. They don't even know how to walk yet, but they'll try to run. So just, you know, be close enough to where you can catch them, but at the same time go right outside of their reach. So because they're trying to get to you, and that's what forces them to kind of step. Like I said, sometimes they'll try to run, sometimes they will take their time and they'll actually walk. It'll register though. They aren't like, they catch on. So they'll realize, if I try to run, I'm gonna fall faster, versus if I try to walk or I take my steps slowly, then I'm staying up longer and I'll slowly back up, like keep walking out of their reach. So then eventually like they're following me, and this is how they start to actually walk. And you do this over and over. If they fall, fine, pick them up, start over, pick them up, start over.
Yeah. There you go. Yay, good girl. You haven't gotten that good. Turn around, try to walk. Ready? Still recording? Yeah. Why? Now she like, wait a minute. Go to mine. Go there. Go there. Probably not. I think last Friday. Sucky now.
At first, they may even only be able to take one step and fall. Pick them up, they start over, right? But over time, they'll get better, and eventually, they'll be able to walk. If they get tired, again, I'm going to reiterate this. If they get tired, stop. It's fine. Give their legs a break. Try again later. Give them a break, and then try again later. I know when, you know, my kids took their first step, that's how I know about this. Like, it was like a running phase. Like, they would try to run, and it wasn't like they wasn't doing nothing but running, you know, like run falling type, you know. I don't know how to explain it, but to say it was run falling, and that was, you know, initially. But they were always like, it was a happy thing. It was, you know, and anything they did, I encouraged them. I was excited about it. I made them feel like, you know, it was like, you know, yeah, you react, you praise, and, you know, and as long as you're excited and you're showing excitement and you're showing encouragement, it builds the baby's confidence, and they'll keep trying, they'll keep going, because, you know, it'll seem fun to them. You don't want it to seem like work. You don't want it to seem like a chore. So you make it fun, kind of like potty training. Like, you praise them, it's the same thing. You praise them for, you know, yeah, you did it, you know, things like that. And once they feel like they're doing something fun, that's exciting and something new, they'll keep doing it, and eventually they'll have it down to the point where you don't have to assist them at all. Now, you do need to be consistent with this. So if you do this every day, even if it's just 2 times a day, more is better. But the more you do it and more consistently that you practice with them, the faster they'll walk. And an example of this is, my daughter never crawled. She went straight from sitting to walking, and then was literally running around the mall at 7 months by herself. Like, she could, I mean, of course with me, but she could walk, or she could run. Like, she was running by 7 months without falling. And now my son, he did crawl, but he was still walking by 9 months. He was standing by 8 months. And even that's extremely early in the eyes of a lot of people. The doctor would, you know, the doctors were even astounded by how early they were doing a lot of things. So if you start early and you consistently keep practicing with them and keep at it, your baby could be confidently walking on their own within a month of standing. So because I had both of these experiences, I know now, like, it's not even necessary for a baby to go through the crawling stage, because my daughter didn't. She didn't go through the crawling stage, and to be honest, I think she was just tired of watching her brother run circles around her and she couldn't run around with him. And so she was determined. She wanted to walk, she wanted to run, she wanted to play like he did and run around like he did. So yeah, she never crawled. I'm honestly kind of happy about that, because crawling makes, you know, baby's knees dark and stuff like that, and she was a girl, so it was a win-win for me. Now every baby is different and they'll walk when they're ready, but if you start early and you encourage them every day by making it fun, they'll gain the confidence quickly. If you're trying this with your baby, be patient, stay consistent, and celebrate every little milestone. And before you know it, you'll have a baby or a toddler running around your house. And I hope you're ready, because trust me, once they start, they don't stop. They're into everything. So don't even do this if you're not ready, because I'm trying to tell you, baby gonna be on go. Alright, so if this video was helpful, give this video a thumbs up, share it with a parent who may be able to use this or may want to try this, and let me know in the comments how old your baby is. Are they showing signs of wanting to walk? Are you going to try this? Or if your baby is already walking, how old were they when they took their first step? Make sure to subscribe for more content, and I'll see you on the next video. Love y'all.
This can't be real. Nah. Tryna play cool, but I got no chill. No. Run it back, matter of fact, slow it down a little. Yeah, I am the highlight reel. Okay. Keep up with it. What? Keep up with it. You can't keep up with it. Come on. Woo. I am the highlight reel. I'm a poster, I'm a monster.